Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Morrison. How are you? I'm coming on here because I want to do this short little masterclass on spiritual gifts in everyday life. So, what qualifies me to talk about the spiritual gifts? I am an angel intuitive. I have had gifts all of my entire life. I have been able to read people since I was out of the womb. So that is one of the things that qualifies me. And also, I have cultivated and worked on my gifts over time. Matter of fact, over the last few years. When I decided to take a Reiki class, I became a Reiki master. I also took a Theta healing class, making sure I have sound. I took a Theta healing class as well, which is just connecting to the heart of creation, to God, to the all there is. So that put me on this journey to dive into my spiritual gifts. And so here I am now. I've created an amazing course, but I want to talk about the spiritual gifts before I get into that. So, this is my brand new course that I'm talking about. Hold on a second. Let me go to the beginning of this thing. Okay. So, spiritual gifts in everyday life. That is what we're talking about today. Thank you for whoever is joining me. I'm going to move on to the next slide, which is, let's see. Okay. So, there are four main clair gifts: clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairaudience, clairsentience. Clair means clear in French. Everyone has spiritual gifts, and they're classically known as psychic abilities. And so I found this cute little thing, and I decided to include it here because I thought that it made sense. So write this down, put it in a conspicuous place, and repeat it to yourself. I live in a divinely inspired universe. I have nothing to fear. I trust in myself, and when I do so, I trust in the very wisdom that created me. So when we begin to embrace our spiritual gifts, we open up like a flower. This translates to amazing revelations, the gifts that we have had all our lives that are now being utilized to its full potential. Now, I already shared with you that I had a lot of these gifts already in operation as I was growing up as a young child. And of course, me, like lots of people, I didn't have anybody to help me to cultivate them, or actually, my grandmother did. She did help me to cultivate them to what she knew, because the thing is you can only share what you know. And she did, she shared what she knew. So, clairvoyance is the first gift that we're going to talk about. So, with clairvoyance, it means clear seeing, and it originated from the French words clair, which is clear, or voir, to see. It is the ability to see events from the future, present, and past within the mind's eye. Clairvoyance differs from telepathy, which is one of several other psychic powers. Clairvoyance is the knowledge of past, present, or future events that is gained without direct conscious thought. It's the psychic ability to see objects, animals, and people despite distance involved. So you can see something that's going on with somebody across the planet, which I think is one of the most amazing things about the spiritual gifts. So clairvoyance see like a movie screen. Clairvoyance can also pick up on past and future events. Clairvoyance is often used as a general term that includes other extrasensory visual abilities, such as telepathic communication and perception, prophetic visions, and lucid dreaming. It encompasses precognition, knowing events that are going to happen, and retrocognition, postcognition, knowing events or situations that have taken place in someone's past. In the field of parapsychology, clairvoyance falls under the category of psi gamma. Clairvoyants use their ability to see or perceive events, whereas some psychics or psychic mediums rely on angels and spirit guides or deceased individuals to obtain information. All right, so let's move on. Connect to the spirit on a regular basis is going to help you to open up your gifts. So, as you begin to meditate, as you begin to spend time in silence, in quiet, as you begin to connect to your higher self, it's going to help you with your spiritual gifts. So, the next gift that we're going to talk about is claircognizance. Claircognizance is that little notion that you get when you know something and you don't know how you know it, which is so freaking neat, right? All right, let's see how it works. Claircognizant people are usually known as know-it-alls simply because they know things they don't even know how they know them. There's a deep sense of knowing inside when you are at work and automatically know something. Oftentimes, you will get an aha moment. The answers to problems and questions will just pop in your head, and you will instantly know it is right information. What is really happening is that your spiritual team is passing on information to you. They typically say, I know. Clairaudience is the next gift that we're going to talk about. So, with clairaudience, it's also referred to as clear hearing. It's the psychic ability to hear voices, sounds, and messages from beyond the physical world. Clairaudience allows you to listen more carefully and hear things that many people can't perceive. These messages can come to you as clear words and phrases, music, or other sounds. Sometimes they represent a warning or advice. Other times you can receive helpful information and messages from loved ones who have passed on. So when you hear things other people don't necessarily hear from spirit, you are experiencing clairaudience. When you hear things which transcend time and space, you hear things in the distance, you hear audible voices speaking to you. Someone who hears information from the mind, not the ears. Basically, it's telepathic info coming into your mind. Okay. So, some signs that you may be clairaudient is you hear someone saying your name when no one is around. If you ever thought that someone called out to you and then found out you were alone in your house, you might be clairaudient. You might also hear voices, whispering, or even voices echoing from another dimension. Clairaudience doesn't always manifest as a clear voice in your ear. You might find that you hear someone speak, but you can't make out the words. You also could be clairaudient if you enjoy quiet, if you like quiet, if you don't like loud noises, if that stuff irritates the hell out of you, then you could be clairaudient. How do I know? Because that is one of my strongest gifts. You speak to imaginary friends as a child. So your childhood imaginary friends may not have been people you conjured in your mind, but spirit communicating with you. You are an auditory learner. So if you prefer audibles or listening to a video or a book as opposed to reading or other ways to get information, then you could be clairaudient. And if you are sensitive to noise, that is another way that you can tell that you could possibly be clairaudient. And you often speak to yourself. Now, speaking to yourself does not necessarily mean having verbal conversations with yourself. It can also come in the form of having conversations with an inner voice inside your mind. Do you often respond to yourself mentally when you have a question or problem? Maybe you come up with sensible or compassionate answers like those you would give someone else in your situation. So these are ways that you can determine if you are clairaudient. So the next gift is clairsentience. So clairsentience is clear feeling. When you feel things other people don't necessarily feel. you are experiencing clairsentience. Clairsentience is a type of energy reading performed by especially empathic people. When clairsentients sense other people's emotions, they will feel them physically. Clairsentient messages are generally more complex than pure feelings, and such input can offer valuable guidance when helping another person who is facing important decisions. Clairsentients often feel things. Clairsentients often feel other people's pain. At times, clairsentients can feel emotions. Clairsentients can also feel music. Clairsentients have clear feeling. So if you often have goosebumps when you hear something or see something, and if you feel like a cool cool air when say somebody passes by you, or if you experience just all of a sudden just get hot for some reason and there's someone around you, that could be examples that you are clairsentient. So some little known clairs gifts, and we all have them, we're just not always aware. So some little known clair gifts are clairgustance, um, which is clear tasting. Someone can taste something that isn't really there. For example, someone tastes chocolate, but he or she is not actually eating any chocolate. Clairalience is having clear smelling. Someone can smell odors that are not present. An example of this would be to smell some perfume or a cigar, but neither of these things is present in that moment. So that is an example. Those are examples of some little known clair gifts, which there are actually many more than this, but these are just the ones that we are focusing on. Clairgustance and clairalience are the little known ones. All right, so who is this course for? So this course is for those seeking spirit and want to understand their gifts, for those who are ready to invest in themselves. Now, it's not a huge investment, which is really what I wanted to do, especially because this course is in beta. Now, what does that mean to you? That means that it's going to be in beta probably for just a little while. And then after that, it's going to go up. The price is going to go up. So right now, it's like you are getting in on the ground floor. So, how do you use your gifts? Now that you know that the clairs, how do you figure out which ones resonate with you? The best way is to sit quietly for a few minutes and start to feel the energies around you. Look at the area where you are, scan that room. Then close your eyes and breathe deeply for a few minutes. Start to take note of what you see in that room. Can you see an item or do you hear a sound? Maybe it's a feeling that's in your stomach, or a taste in your mouth, or a smell of something. You see, these are all the clair gifts that I have discussed. Or perhaps you know something unexpectedly. Once you can identify how you felt, you are on your way to knowing what your clairs are. This is the start to opening your intuitive side and will allow you to better understand the spiritual information you are getting as senses or intuition. It is how you interpret the energy as well as connect to the other side. Now that's just colors, and it's my favorite color, so it works for me. All right, so it's here. Claire Gifts in Everyday Life. And this is the link for it that you can click on and get your course. And you will be able to get that course forever. So when you buy it, you'll have it. So as I update it, you'll get updates in your course, all of that. So it's just amazing tool to have. So meet our team. So this is my husband David, supportive husband, and he's my social media manager. And then me, Tammy Morrison, energy shifting practitioner, because that is really what I do. Spiritual gifts in everyday life. I don't know if y'all can see the peacefulness of that picture. It's so amazing. And that's kind of why I put it there. So, the takeaways: what gifts are available to me? Connecting to your intuition, stepping into consciousness. So, these are things that you will get as you learn about your spiritual gifts and begin to embrace them and use them in your everyday life. You can use them in your job, which is what I do. I use my spiritual gifts everywhere that I go. I use it at work. I use it at home. I use it when I go to the store. I use it when I step into a place. You know, like today, I went into a place and I felt something in the air, an energy. And the situation that happened with me, basically, I went into a beauty supply store and they told me I couldn't shop there because I wasn't a beautician, didn't have a license. I kind of felt something was off when I went in the store. And then, part of me was like, because the girl actually basically put me out of the store, part of me was like, you know what? Was that real? Was it live? Was it Memorex? Or was it racism? Because I wondered if I could at least walk in the store and look around if I didn't look like I look. If maybe I was a few shades lighter. So, generally, though, when my intuition tells me these things, I am usually correct. And in these times of heightened um, bullshit going on in the world, I tend to try to listen to that. So, that is just an example of using your spiritual gifts in your everyday life. So, because you spent a few minutes with me, it would be wrong of me not to offer you something special. Hmm. So, I got this brand new course that I've created. You get lifetime access. Right now, it's $197, which is a steal because it's an amazing course. It's going to help you to not only pinpoint and open up what your spiritual gifts are, but show you how you can use them in everyday life. They're not just for woo woo, they're not just to do, readings and healings and things like that. They are to be used at your job. Your intuition will open up and you'll begin to understand, what your boss is saying without saying it. You'll begin to understand, how people are viewing what you're saying. When you give a presentation, you'll begin to see and feel, the energy in the room and how people are, accepting what you are putting down. In fact, we almost always do use them in our everyday life, and we're just not aware of them. This also includes a bonus ebook and a private Facebook group for connection, all for the introductory price of $197, and the course is open. So um, it's super amazing. Those of you that have been inside my groups know the time that I take and the care that I give to um, my people, because I truly believe that we all have these gifts. And I truly believe that I'm placed here to be a guide to help people to learn how to open them. So, again, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me all this time. Let's see. Let me put this down. Okay. All right. So, this is what I'm bringing to you, and I really appreciate you guys for hanging out and spending time with me. But this is what I'm doing. This course is amazing. I have put a lot of time into it. I've put a lot of time into it and a lot of energy. However, I really want people to be able to access it that need it. So, um, when you are ready, you can click that link. And I appreciate all of you for watching me. Definitely will be back on again tomorrow. So, look for me. And if you have any questions, you can either pop them in the comments wherever you are watching on Facebook. I think I got it in my page and on my business page and also on YouTube. So if you have any questions, you want any information, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can send me a private message. My DMs are open. So, again, thank you so much for joining and watching. I will definitely be back on again tomorrow. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, evening, night, or weekend. Bye now.